everybody. I'm Melanie Marie Boyer, the Executive Director of the Pittsburgh Metropolitan Area Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to our Latino Pittsburgh Digital Speaker Series. Today, we're going to be speaking with Luis Guzman, who is the Vice President of Finance at PGT Trucking. He is from Ecuador, and he's here to tell us his immigrant story, what he does, a little bit about his company, and how he got to where he is today. Welcome, Luis.
Hi, Melanie. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you today?
Pretty good. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for being here, sharing your story with us, as well as being a part of the community, a member of the chamber. You are greatly appreciated, and we're so thrilled to have you.
Thank you.
So I want to dive right in. Tell us a little bit about where you're from.
Well, I'm originally from Ecuador, city of Guayaquil, which is the coastal city in Ecuador. Um, and I was born and raised there up until I was 20 years old.
That's awesome. So tell me, what was life like there compared to the U.S.? Well, first of all, wait, what age did you come to the U.S. at?
I was 20 years old when I first came to move here, for an extended period of time. I had come to visit the U.S. when I was younger, a couple times, but I was 20 when I immigrated to the U.S.
So you spent your whole childhood in Ecuador. Tell us, how do you think that was different from life here in the U.S.?
Oh my gosh, so different. Uh, it was just completely different experience. I mean, I talk to my wife now. She's American. She was born and raised here in the U.S. And I tell her stories, and she has been down to Ecuador a couple times to visit, and it's culture shock whenever she goes, uh, because there's so many things that we grow up accustomed to see in our countries that for us is nothing, right? You come from the U.S., where everything is perfect, from our point of view, in our countries, um, in the sense of like the services and the amenities and like the things that you can buy and things that you can do, right? Um, but you grow up in our countries, and it's all good. I mean, that's what we know, and that's what we love. And we, in my case, my family was, just regular middle class family. um, my mom, dad, I have two sisters. I'm the only boy. um, you know the weather, especially in my city in Guayaquil, really hot and humid. It's a coastal city, and we're right in the equator, so obviously it's going to be hot. We do have some the mountain regions of Ecuador. It's actually colder, um, but it's just the typical Hispanic upbringing. Very close family unit, and even our extended family. Right. Every Sunday we'll go to my grandma's house and have dinner. She'll make dinner for us every single Sunday. All of my cousins will come. My dad's brothers and their kids. And it was like a family reunion every Sunday, which was nice. Then for Christmas, New Year's Eve, you just get together. That's what you do. Um, you know, you're at home, and like any given time, a cousin, a relative, an aunt or uncle can just stop by and knock on the door and say, "Hey, here I am. I'm coming to visit." Like they don't have to announce themselves, like you know, a week in advance. Hey, I'm going to come visit you on Thursday. It's just show up, and everybody's like, "Oh, cool, come in. There's some food here. You want to eat? All right, let's go." So, that kind of stuff was a little different.
It feels so different from how we live today, right? It's funny. I identify with that so much more. And I think that it might be hard for some people, but I love hearing it. I want to talk to you a little bit more about, though, what you were talking about how you viewed the U.S. when you were younger and you were living in Ecuador. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your perspective of American culture at that time?
Well, obviously, what you see in the movies, um, I don't think I realized, how it really was. I think you do find a lot of similarities at the end of the day, in terms of family, uh, the way families function, the way people interact. You know, we're all human beings, and at the end of the day, it's similar. Um, but yeah, you see the U.S. as a this advanced country with like all these things that you can do. Going to the U.S. was like a dream, right? If you got the chance as a kid to go to like Disney World or anywhere else in the U.S., it was awesome. And you came back and like I remember we used to say, I mean, when we were little kids, I remember my uncle went to the U.S. and then he came back, and we were like, oh, he came back. He looks whiter. He looks like he's like Americanized a little bit. Obviously, it wasn't true, but that was the perception.
It's so interesting to hear that view because we have people from who come from all over, especially within the chamber. We have so many Latinos who are first generation, and it's always fun to hear like what the perception was versus when you got here. But first I want to talk about, when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Um, I'll be honest with you. I don't think I was thinking exactly what I wanted to be. I know that I wanted to um, I wanted to have a career. I wanted to I was pretty good at math always. So I figured like okay, maybe I have something to do with math or like money. Um, you know, Obviously, well, not obviously, but um, I started playing basketball when I can't remember, 9, 10 years old. And, you know, you can't tell, but I'm really tall. I'm 6'10". So I played basketball in Ecuador. I was decent. I was able to make the local city team and the national team, and that was kind of what like took me to the U.S. Because I wanted to like continue playing basketball. I knew that there were some opportunities to get scholarships to go to school, and that's sort of like what guided me to come to the U.S.
So, was basketball always a dream for you or an avenue that you would use to get here, or did it just work out that way?
It was a dream. It was a dream. Like any young person, I had dreams of playing professional basketball. Um, and I followed that dream, but obviously you get to a point that you realize, okay, I'm in the right path, but not quite the path that I need to be to get to that spot. But I was playing it both ways, right? I was like, okay, I'm playing basketball. I'm trying my best. I'm trying to like make something happen. At the same time, I'm hitting the books hard. I'm studying and I'm making sure that I'm picking a good career, which I picked business administration with a concentration in finance, so that at the end of the day, if this basketball thing didn't work out, I can always follow my degree and like continue my life via a professional career.
So, towards the end of school, you were getting into basketball. Let's talk about how you made the decision for what school you were going to go to, coming to the US, and what that process looked like. Because I know that we have obviously a lot of the people who are watching this are already here, but a lot of people have family members or they've been through, similar processes and struggles. So we would love to hear your experience.
Yeah, so it is a lot easier when you have family members, and I feel like most people, um, you have to have somebody to help you. Okay, when you first come here. In my case, like I said, I contacted some universities. I sent some videotapes of me playing basketball to see if I could, garner some interest in me. And I ended up. My mom's cousin lives in New Jersey, in the North Bergen, Jersey City area. Well, she actually used to live there. No, she actually moved back to Ecuador. Um, but she was there at the time and she offered to help me. So I went over to her house. I stayed with her for a couple months. Her husband, my uncle, he helped me out a lot. He actually had also been contacting some coaches in the New Jersey area, and it wasn't easy for me. I mean, it's not like I came right in and like all the doors open for me. They didn't. I tried out with one school, it didn't work out. They needed my SAT scores. I didn't have that. It was too late for me to take the test because school was about to start. Um, I tried for another school. Things didn't work out. So my uncle had been talking to a coach at a community college in Newark, New Jersey, called Essex County Community College, and he was able to get me to meet the coach. And the coach, he saw me. He had me work out for a little bit. He saw me that he could use me, and he offered me a scholarship, um, but only for studies. He couldn't offer me the room and board. So my uncle stepped up for me, and he said, "Don't worry about it. I'll take care of that. He'll stay with me, and he'll go to school." So as it turned out, school started. I got all my paperwork, my student visa set up, and everything. And the coach ended up providing a room for me. He put me up with one of our other teammates. They had an apartment, a school apartment. They have a school apartment building, and they put me in with another teammate. And I just had to worry about food and books. And at that point, my parents were helping me a little bit. Um, I was working on the side, doing something like whatever, washing cars or something, just to get a few bucks in my pocket to get food. So you just get by.
So that is so wonderful that you had that support here and that you were able to come. But let's talk about what it took to get through that. I know when you and I spoke, you talked about working through school. Tell us a little bit about that and what that balance was like.
Yes. So you know, I had to during the summertime or during the weekends. I would work at least the first year to try to pay for my books and my food. My parents helped me also, but obviously, they couldn't completely fund me for everything. But so I had to do something to help out. Um, that was my first year. My second year in college, I had to go out and like find another school that could provide me um, the whole thing, a full ride, uh, what they call. And I started sending out tapes. I started contacting people. I started going to basketball camps to try to get more exposure. And I was contacted by a school in Burlington, Vermont, which is up north. Um, Obviously, I mean, for you guys that know the U.S., Newark, New Jersey to Burlington, Vermont, it's like a 180, in terms of like culture and like just the way the cities are. But I went there. They offered me a full ride. So school, books, food was paid for, but I still needed some money to do stuff. Just general activities that you always need money. So I started working at the cafeteria. So my second year, I worked at the cafeteria. It was me and another teammate from he was from Africa actually, and we would just work there, almost every day. So we would go to school, we go to class, go to practice, and then we go work there for like an hour or two, and that'll give us extra money for us to do whatever we wanted.
Sorry, it's definitely something that I think, now with the way that it's so common to take out student loans, we're seeing less and less that students are working through college. So I love when people share that they did that, they were able to do it, and kind of make their own way. So that's pretty amazing. I mean, of course, scholarships help, but you get there because of hard work. So very good job.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, after my second year in Burlington, Vermont, then I was recruited to come to Robert Morris University in Pittsburgh, which is where I'm at right now in Pittsburgh. And Obviously that was a whole different story. That's Division 1 school. There's a lot more money in the program, so I was able to get a full ride, books, food paid for, and then on top of that, they give you shoes. They give you sorry, they
That's
give you
okay.
shoes. They give you you know gears, sweatpants, shirts, shorts, everything. Right. So it was a lot better, and I still worked because I needed to have extra money to, like, if I wanted to go visit home, right? So I need to
Mhm.
buy a plane ticket. So I worked as a tutor, as a finance tutor, and that was good too. Just a few hours every day, helping other students in finance. Finance was my major, so that's what I was helping people on. So yeah, that was my experience in college.
So, what about culture and language? Did you speak English?
I spoke enough to get by when I got here. My dad actually went to school in the U.S. too. He went to Cornell University to get his MBA. No, I'm sorry, his master's in science. And so he was fluent in English. And when I was little, he would teach me a lot. So him teaching me plus whatever school taught me, I was pretty good in English. However, when you first get here, from like learning it to like actually becoming fluent is like a whole different story. So you almost have to like relearn the language by memorizing phrases and words, and that's how you become fluent. So I did struggle a little bit. I had to take some extra English classes at work to get me up to speed, especially in the writing and the so that was what I had to do.
So, what about like culture? I know, going to New Jersey, there are lots of Latinos there. So, I'm sure that the hurdle wasn't as big as if you would have came straight to Pittsburgh. But why don't you tell us about those transitions and, if you, what your perception was of those different cultures and, going from mostly being Latino to then becoming more of a minority and how that affected you?
Yes, it was different. It was different, and it was hard to like fit in a lot of times. You're with friends, your American friends, and like they have certain jokes or certain things that they say like that are just like normal for here because you grow up listen to that stuff. Me, I a lot of times those things just like went over my head, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about." So that took a little bit of getting used to it. Um, and then um, I don't know the language. I would say even to this day, there's like a lot of sayings that I say I'm wrong because my wife makes fun of me. Um, and it's still. I think I'm still learning.
I like that though. I really, I think it's really good to be kind of a lifelong learner. And when it comes to language, I feel like, it's something that never goes away. Your first language is always going to be your first language.
Yeah.
So before we get into the professional stuff, I want to talk to you about, the things that got you through college, that got you to be where you are today in your professional career. We really like that when students are watching, they can see some of the hurdles that you went through or things that they can really identify with. So if you could identify maybe something that was a hurdle during your college career and how you overcame it, we would love for you to share.
Yes. First of all, you have to have your heart in it. I knew that I wanted to come here. I knew that I wanted to go to school and graduate. That's what I wanted to do. Nobody told me to do it. Um, Nobody was forcing me to do it. So when you know something in your heart that you want to do, then you just figure it out. That's number one. Number two, um, you just gotta keep at it. Don't get discouraged. It's gonna be hard. You're gonna have a lot of setbacks, but you just have to keep at it. You have to be relentless, and if there's something that you can do, don't just think that I'm never gonna learn it. Just keep keep pounding it until you get it. I had a really hard time writing papers, essays. I mean, I hated it. Or like giving presentations. I hated it. It was like the worst thing I wanted to do. Right, get in front of people and talk, and or writing. I mean, I was awful at it, and you just have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and eventually you become decent at it. Just don't give up. Just I don't know. It was just be persistent and keep at it.
And do whatever it takes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. I think that honestly, I think that you're a great speaker. You are doing tremendous today. So either you were always good at it and you were modest, or you've come a long way. Either way, you get the credit. So tell us a little bit about how your career got started after college.
Yes. So you know, as I said, I had my basketball dreams. I did make it to a Division 1 college, which is Robert Morris University. They used to play in the Northeast Conference. They just moved to a better conference. Um, and at some point, I realized, okay, basketball. I'm not gonna go professional in the U.S. I better hit the books harder. Um, you know, I could have tried to go overseas and do something, but that it was kind of risky. And then if I did that, I probably wouldn't have been able to come back to the U.S. or it would have been really hard for me to do it. So I decided to take the advantage of the what they call the OPT, optional practical training. Okay, that's like a special work permit that the U.S. allows um, college graduates from another countries to work for a year. They can work for a year at any company and basically apply what they've learned to the real world. So I did that. I was lucky enough that the owner of this company, PGT Trucking, at the time was on the board of Robert Morris University. And my coach at Robert Morris, my basketball coach, he was familiar with him, and we've had a couple of our other teammates had summer jobs at PGT Trucking. So I talked to my coach. This was my senior year, my last year in college, and I asked him to please, talk to the owner of PGT Trucking and see if I could get an internship at PGT because I had this year to work, and I wanted to do that. So he did so, and he got me in touch with PGT. I came in. They got me an internship. It happened to be in the accounting department. My major was finance, so that worked well. Um, and that's sort of how I got in the company. As soon as I got in, I was trying my best to do everything they wanted me to do as fast as possible and as accurate as possible. Do my best work, and after 3 months working there, I talked to them and I said, hey, I would like to stay if there's an opportunity. So you know, I say I have this year to work, and they say, okay, well, we'll keep you on. And then after the year went by, I had to talk to them again and say, hey, I would like to stay, longer if there's an opportunity. And it happened to be an opportunity for a staff accountant open, and they wanted me to stay. So I talked to them about the work visa, the H-1B visa, which is you know it's a visa for professionals, for workers that have a college degree. And we talked about it, and they understood what it was. They understood the cost. There's some costs, some legal fees that you have to pay, and they were you know they were nice enough to do that for me. And obviously that was a blessing for me.
That is so amazing. And those are the types of connections that the chamber wants to work on. So many times, especially in Pittsburgh, I feel like we're really a turnkey city, and meaning like you have to know someone who can turn that key to open the door. So that's one of the reasons why I love working with companies like yours, because now, as we have students come through, we can give you a call and say, hey, here, this is what we have. And I know we have a lot of things that we're looking at for the future, but I really want people to hear about the amazing company that you work for. I've heard so many good things in talking to you guys. It's just always been such a positive experience. So tell us about, the company, what your mission is, and what the culture's like.
Yes. So PGT Trucking, it was founded in 1981 by Mr. Patrick Gallagher. He's a Pittsburgh native. He started this company with basically one truck. Uh, he was in the transportation business. He was working for another trucking company, and then deregulation in the country hit, and he was able to open up his own company. He had some customers and contacts, and he started growing the company since 1981. Um, so this year we celebrated 40 years in business, and it has been, I think, a successful 40 years. Um, we are a motor carrier, asset based, meaning we have trucks and trailers. We are a flatbed motor carrier. What that means is we specialize in transporting goods that are mainly big and heavy. We're talking about steel coils, structural steel, wallboard, lumber, things that you can put on a platform, on a flatbed. Um, that's our area. I mean, when you think about trucking, uh, you think it's one thing. No, it's a lot of things. I mean, no, you can look at a trucking company and it could be completely different in what they do to another one. We're a full truckload, so we're not taking little boxes in a big box trailer. We're taking just one big load, two sometimes maybe, or three, but uh, mainly that's what we do. We operate all throughout the U.S., mainly the eastern part of the U.S., east of the Mississippi, and then we also operate in Texas. We recently opened a terminal in Phoenix, Arizona, and we go all the way to Canada, and then we have a very pretty sizable international operation in Mexico. Um, we we have a terminal in Laredo, Texas, which is right at the border with Mexico, and there is a big international operation where we bring loads to the border. We work with a Mexican motor carrier that they take the loads from the border into Mexico to all the different cities in Mexico. We usually take raw materials from the U.S. In Mexico, there's a lot of the assembly lines or the assembly factories, and then finished goods come back to the U.S. And then Mexican carrier brings them to the border, and then we take them into to the different areas in the U.S. that the customers needed. And we do this as a one-stop service. So our customer doesn't see two invoices, one for the Mexican carrier, one for our part of the business. They just see one. They don't have to worry about customs. They don't have to worry about anything. We do everything. So that's the kind of service that we do for for our customers.
So tell me, what does your workforce look like in terms of diversity, especially ethnic and gender diversity?
So I don't have the exact stats. I was looking into our Hispanic stats. We're I mean, I'm not gonna say we're like super diverse, but we are fairly diverse. Looking at the Hispanic population, about 15% of our office staff is Hispanic. About 11 to 15% of our driver staff or driver employees are Hispanics. Women I want to say we're pretty up there. I mean, we probably have like 30-40% of our office employee women. On the truck driving side, that's a little harder because it's a tough job, in terms of physical uh, requirements. You got to lift chains, you got to lift tarps. We do have some women. I mean, there's a lot more women that have been joining the driving force, but especially on our side of business, which is flatbed, you not only have to drive the truck, you have to secure the load with chains and straps, and you got to get on the platform and like put a tarp on top of it and then secure it. So it's a pretty physical job. So it's a little harder for um, if for it's a little easier for men to do it. I don't want to say the wrong thing here.
Yeah, just
Right.
people with a physically larger and more strong physique. I mean, there
Yeah, I
are
don't want.
definitely
Yeah,
women who fit that too, but
yeah. I'm not
yeah.
saying that women can't do it. I mean, they can do it, and we do have a few women who do that, and it's good. But yeah, and again, we have our driving force, our truck drivers, and then we have our office staff.
Mhm.
We have about our fleet consists of about 1,000 trucks and truck drivers. Our office personnel, we may have, I don't know, maybe a couple hundred people working between office and mechanics. We also have mechanics because it's better to have your in-house mechanics to fix your trucks or trailers and do your inspections and oil changes and all that stuff. Um, but yeah, that's roughly the size of the company.
Awesome. So, what are you guys looking for right now? I know everyone is looking to hire. So, tell me who you're looking to hire for what positions and what benefits. What makes PGT a better employer than some of the other options out there?
Yes, I think like everybody else, we're looking for employees. I mean, it's a really tough job market right now for companies. It's good for employees. I mean, they have their pick. We're looking for everything. In operations, we're talking about fleet managers. We're looking for people in the administrative area, accounting. Um, we're doing a big push in the IT area, and we're developing this new um, we're focusing on IT a lot because we see that's the way the world is going, and you think trucking is just basic truck and driving, but no, there's a lot to it. There's a lot of technology involved in trucking, and now with autonomous vehicles and electric vehicles and all that stuff, and I'll talk about it a little bit more later. But um, obviously, truck drivers is our lifeblood at PGT. If we didn't have truck drivers, we have no company. So that is the main thing that we're looking for. uh, we understand that the truck driving population, the Hispanic proportion of truck drivers, especially on the younger side, under 35 years old, has been growing a lot lately here in the U.S. So that's an area that we would like to tap, and that's why we're becoming more and more Hispanic friendly, because we want to be, able to welcome Hispanic people to our driving force. We're not there yet. We're still working on that. Um, we're little by little we'll add in more staff that have some sort of Hispanic heritage to our offices, because that's the support that the drivers are going to need. And it's hard for drivers, for Hispanic drivers, especially the language barrier. So you do have to, like, fit the company with the support staff necessary for that, and that's what we're looking for. Again, one thing that I wanted to mention, this is something I actually sent an email to the our head of IT, and I told him, like, hey, if you ever come across a candidate that tells you they need an H-1B visa, work visa, let me know. I can talk to you about it. I mean, don't be scared, because a lot of companies are like that. If when they hear they ask, "Are you authorized to work in the U.S.?" And the answer is, "Well, not right now, but if you sponsor me, I am." Then the companies just move on. So, I reached out to my IT department and say, "Hey, don't be scared by that. Just come talk to me. It's not as bad as it seems. I did it. It's not bad. So, let me know."
I love that you're sharing all of these things, especially how diverse the company already is and what you're looking for. Now, tell me why. I know that you love working there. You've given me really great feedback. Tell us why you love working there and what benefits other people get over other employees or employers that they may be looking at.
Yes. So trucking is a fast-paced industry. You are, busy all the time. Your days are going to be different every day. Um, there's so many factors that go into trucking, and there's so many things that affect the performance of the company that you have to be watching everything. And that this is why so many we have invested in technology to like help us manage the company. Um, as a company, we offer great benefits. I think we have health insurance. We have different levels of coverage that you can choose from, and we have 401k. We match up to 5%. I'm sorry, we match 100% up to 5%, which is not many companies do that. Most companies do like a variation of 100% up to 3% and 50% up to 5%. We do 100% match up to 5%. And I tell people, hey, that's free money for you. Take it. Um, we have uh, health, 401k, paid leave, vacation. Um, we provide there's a life insurance. There's your usual typical benefits that most companies offer. We do them all.
And what about the environment? How do you feel, the company treats you as an individual?
We're all about relationships. It's in our mission statement. We want to develop long-lasting relationships, and we also want to provide financial security and career opportunities to our employees. And I think that's as a company, that's what we do. We try to do. Um, we're not a company for everybody. I don't think every company is for everybody. I think we're demanding. We're demanding from our employees, but at the same time, we would like to reward them. As far as environment, I would say you do get a couple different environments depending on which department you are. I mean, if you're in operations, it's very upbeat, very like informal, loud, a lot of you know talking information back and forth. If you're in the accounting department like I am, it's a lot different. You got to focus on what you're doing. You're crunching the numbers. You're like analyzing things, so it's a lot more quiet. But at the end of the day, I think it's you know we, we like to be professional. I think our motto is the proud professionals. That's what our drivers call themselves, and everybody in the company, the proud professional. We want to be professional about everything we do, and it starts with how we dress. I mean, you can see I'm wearing a suit right now. Not many companies wear suits anymore. It starts with the owner, Pat Gallagher. He's a very you know professional individual. He wants things to be well done, even if you have to spend more money. But and that's what's about. So with that, we are investing a lot of money in technology. We're partnering with other companies that are investing in technology. For example, we recently signed a letter of intent with a company called Nikola. I don't know if you've heard of Nikola. Nikola is a company that is trying to develop hydrogen cell powered trucks and electric trucks. And we just signed a letter of intent to lease 100 of their trucks. whenever they're ready, which they're thinking about a couple of years now. Um, we also, I'm sorry, I'm hearing some feedback.
Oh, sorry. I will mute.
We also are partnering with a company. They're based here in Pittsburgh called Locomation, and what they do is they're developing a technology for autonomous relay convoy vehicles. What does that mean? That means you got two trucks, and they are connected, um, electronically, and the one the one truck in the back is just without a driver, and the one in the front has a driver. So you can have one driver drive two trucks in essence. Um, then we're hearing all these things about autonomous vehicles and things like that, and all has to do with the need of um, having more drivers, because there's a driver shortage in the industry. Um, our partnership with Nikola is, for the green initiative. Everybody's looking for alternative ways to fossil fuels, to be more environmentally friendly, and our customers, are committed to that too. So we like to support our customers, and this helps us, support our customers' green initiatives, and that's what we do. All these things, partnering with these companies.
That is so fascinating. I'm sorry, the fan kicked on my computer, so we might hear that a little bit. But that is so fascinating to see how the company is moving forward. So, do you think that that will eliminate jobs that are taken or just fill jobs that aren't able to be filled?
Um, I think it's going to fill jobs that are not able to be filled. Yeah, we definitely have a driver shortage. I mean, if we had more drivers, we could service so many more customers, and I think the whole industry is suffering from that. So yeah, I mean, automation is going to fill that gap. And as far as you know, losing jobs, yeah, you with automation you might lose a few jobs here and there, but I mean, you still need people to manage, those vehicles. I mean, not drive them, but like manage what they're doing and things like that.
See, I love hearing that because so many people worry that automation will be eliminating so many things, but it also creates a lot of opportunity. And it's really neat to know that, here in Pittsburgh, and within the chamber, that our companies are going to be a part of that. Well, I really loved hearing about the company, hearing a little bit about your background. So before we wrap up, I want to see, what advice do you have for students who are looking to take the first step in their career?
Um, I would say my advice is, don't feel like you have to get to a point quickly. Be patient, mm, work hard. You will be noticed if you work hard in whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter if your job seems meaningless, but if you do it well and you do it responsibly, you go above and beyond what they're asking you to do, you will get noticed, and then you will get promoted and do jobs that you like better or that pay more. And be patient, because it might not be the first year, it might not be after 3 months, it might not be after 2 years. Just be patient. um, Work hard, do your best. You'll get noticed. I feel like that's what happened to me. I was patient. I mean, I started as an intern, and you just work your way up, but you got to be patient. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen the next month or the next year. um, just keep at it. uh, you know keep keep your eyes open for opportunities, but be patient.
Sorry, it's taking me a second to get off mute, but what would you say for the people who are looking to come to the U.S. To make a difference in their lives? Would you say that it was the right step for you, and what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I think it was the right step for me. And also recognize that it's not, the right step for everybody. It all depends on your situation. But it helps a lot when you have some sort of family member or friend that can guide you and give you a little bit of support when you come to the country. Because there's a lot of things that you don't know, that it's hard to get used to, things that you don't think about, um, you know that are hard. I mean, it is a different culture, it is a different world, different system, that you have to get used to. So if you have somebody to guide you, that's the best way to go.
Well, I am so glad that we're able to connect with you, have you as a resource, as well as know that these jobs are available so that community members, can know what's out there. I think so many people feel that they have to take these like entry level jobs that don't have the type of benefits and resources and training that your company gives. So I want to talk for a second about that. I know that you guys accept entry level, but you're very good with your training and your company culture. So for someone who, maybe has never driven before, never worked for a trucking company, what's their experience like?
So first of all, if you want to be a truck driver, you have to go to CDL school, which is the commercial driver's license. um, so you gotta get some practice. Right now, we are accepting very few students. The simple reason is it takes a lot longer to train them. um, but when we do accept more students, we do have a great training program. When it comes to office personnel, obviously, we hire people from all different levels. From high school education to 2-year college degree to 4-year college degree. Also, your experience, obviously play a role. Going back to truck drivers, it is a tough job, but it could be very rewarding. You could you can make a good living for your family. It's it requires a lot of attention to detail. A lot of things have to go the right way. Remember, you're driving a 80,000 pound vehicle at 65, 64 miles an hour on the highway, so there's a lot of dangers out there. So we like to provide our drivers with the best technology available. We provide them with newer model trucks with a lot of the amenities. um, we provide them with satellite tracking for the truck and for the trailer. We have forward-facing cameras on all of our trucks, just to make sure that if in the event of an accident, we can see all the details and all the facts to the accidents, because these days there's a lot of fraud out there. There's a lot of things that are going on, and having a camera protects us from that, and the driver protects the driver from any liability on that.
Well, that is awesome. That is a lot of great information for anyone who's interested. Is there anything else that you want to add?
Uh, I just want to say that we joined the Chamber of Commerce this year. It's something that we've been wanting to do, and we want to get more involved with the Hispanic community here in Pittsburgh, as well as around the U.S. Because we know we operate in several states. Like I said, we operate basically east of the Mississippi. We're in New Jersey. There's a pretty big Hispanic community. We're in Texas. We just opened a terminal in Phoenix, Arizona. So we are trying to get involved, and I think we're doing a good job in getting more Hispanic people in the company. I think we are viewed as a very hardworking group of people, and I think that's something that a lot of businesses are looking for. including ours.
Definitely. Well, I love that. Thank you again for being here. We really appreciate you. You have a good day.
Thank you, Melanie. Same here. Bye.
Bye. And wrong person. And thank you all for tuning in. I'm Melanie Marie Boyer. I'm the Executive Director of the Pittsburgh Metropolitan Area Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. This speaker series is something that we took a little break on during Hispanic Heritage Month because we were out there trying to get education out there to the community to really educate people on what it means to be Latino, what Latinos are contributing, to the economy and things like that. So if you missed us, that's why. I am going to cut this out because I didn't have the thing. Sorry. I'm going to edit this. I didn't have the thing pulled up.
Okay.
The Latino Pittsburgh Digital Speaker Series is an initiative of the Pittsburgh Metropolitan Area Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Its goals are to share relevant information, inspire growth, and foster opportunity. Speakers and workshops include community leaders and members, as well as other individuals and programs that have a positive impact on not only the Hispanic community, but the Pittsburgh region at large. I'm your host, Melanie Marie Boyer, and if you would like to become a speaker, please feel free to email me at chamber@pmahcc.org. Also, if you'd like more information, you can visit our website, www.pmahcc.org. Thank you and have a great day.